Hello, Craig Birch here at the EC Sports and Social Club on Showell Road in Wolverhampton, where we've just had our guest speaker, boxing guest speaker here tonight, the voice of boxing, Steve Bunce. Steve, they kept you talking out there, didn't you? You must be all worn out now. I mean, there was lots of questions, there was a big speech from yourself and so on. I think you've I don't know what else to ask after that.
Well, so. if you get a crowd in a place like this, in a venue like this, a real venue, a proper venue, so you get 20 or 30 proper boxing people and another 20 or so, 30, maybe 50 people in total, but 20 of them are hardcore boxing people, guys that boxed at the Olympics, guys that had 100 contests, guys that have refereed some of the biggest fights we've had in the last 25 years. That's a hardcore audience. And then you get guys that have worked in amateur gyms like Steve there for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, Steve.
What do you expect? What do you expect? You've got to expect proper questions. Those people aren't putting their hand up and saying, do you think Anthony Joshua should go into Love Island next year?
Oh,
they're asking proper boxing.
Talk to me about Love Island, Steve.
But they're asking proper boxing questions.
Yeah.
And they want, and what's more, Craig, they want proper answers.
Yeah, yeah.
And so instead of doing 20 or 30 minutes, you end up doing an hour and about 20. But hey ho, it's perfect.
Enjoyable experience, I suppose. It's always good to talk about boxing, isn't it?
Particularly
when you've got a book out.
A great experience, and the big fat short history of British boxing. I brought some of those along, and I've sold
a fair few.
I'm stunned by how many I've sold. I'm delighted, but I'm stunned.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously there was. There'd have been a couple of people in there that would have been in the book as well. Tony Wilson, did he play?
Tony Wilson's massively in the book. Oh, yeah. Mitu, I think, makes a cameo. Terry O'Connell makes a couple of appearances. And there's a couple of guys that were talking about. Frank O'Sullivan, the guy that's run Birmingham City Boxing Club since about 1858. He makes an appearance in the book. Absolutely, yeah. Plenty of people make an appearance in the book. But they're in the audience tonight.
So that must be pleasing for you to sort of catch up with the people who but we must say they're free of, what is it, 120,000 or something like that?
No, there's 160,000 words in the book, 464 pages, and the key ingredient is the index. 1,300 boxers and trainers and fight people mentioned. Now, if you check any book you've got at home, any book you've got on your bookshelves, I don't know, Pele's biography, Bobby Moore's biography, Henry Cooper's autobiography, you go to the index, there'll be a couple of hundred people.
Even a team game, you went someone like, you know...
Absolutely, 1,300 people in one book. That's a staggering amount.
You've certainly done your homework, and it's worth mentioning, well, that this book is, you know, already doing rave reviews on Amazon and so on, and this is not the end of it, is it? There's going to be, editionised, it's going to be updated each year. And
it gets updated. This is the hardback edition, came out in May, and in May of next year, the soft back edition or a soft edition will come out, and that will have the entire boxing year of 2017, which, by the way, hasn't been bad.
It hasn't. No, we have had Hay Bellew, we've had Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko, we've had Brook, we've had Spence, and come the August Bank Holiday weekend, we're going to have Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor.
Absolutely.
You've alluded to it. McGregor's got no chance. We must illustrate that straight off.
McGregor's got no chance. Let's get that absolutely right. But it's a fantastic event, and I fail to see why so many of my colleagues in boxing are so upset with it. Are you crazy? It's a great event. Sure, it's a carnival. They all know it's a carnival. Sure, it's a bit of a freak show. They know it's a freak show. But once the bell sounds for however long it lasts, it will be hard. McGregor could find himself knocked spark out here. Not hit and hurt, knocked spark out. That could happen. And I think McGregor knows that. I interviewed him last week at Wembley after the head-to-head press conference. And I think he's aware. I think he knows that it could be hard. He knows how tough it's going to be. I don't think he really knows how hard it could be. And that's what he's going to find out when it.
How did this ever get sanctioned? That's the bit I still can't get my head around as a boxing match, isn't it?
The Nevada State Athletic Commission went to the gym to watch Conor McGregor sparring and training. And was he good enough to be a boxer? Yes, but the asterisk attached to that is, was he good enough to be a 4-round, 6-round, 8-round boxer? The answer is yes. Was he good enough to fight one of the best defensive fighters in history and one of the best boxers from the last 50 years? The answer is no. But that's not on the form. When the commissioners go out and judge boxers to see if they're worthy of getting a license,
they
have certain things they have to tick. Now, one of the things that's missing from that list is, if this guy's given a license, could he be allowed to fight a former great? And the answer is no. But that box doesn't exist.
No.
So you tick the other box. Is this guy aware of the dangers of boxing? Yes. Can this guy, does this guy show various aptitude? Can he throw a left jab, a right jab? Can he throw a left hook, a right hook? Yes, yes. Can he move back in a defensive position? Can he move forward in an offensive position? Yes, 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 yes. There's no box that would have got him disqualified from getting a license. So you can't deny him the license.
Yes, of course.
And he's not fighting for a world title, so you don't have to get permission from a sanctioning body. He's got permission to fight, and this is a fight. You can't give a man permission to fight and then say you can't fight.
Yeah.
He's done them. It's beautiful.
Of course. Is it bad for boxing? Is it bad for the sport?
I don't think it's bad for the sport. In an ideal world, I'd like to see Floyd Mayweather. I'd like to have seen Floyd Mayweather fight Gennady Golovkin last year at a catchweight. I don't think it's bad for the sport because I think boxing will win. Floyd Mayweather will win. And people know what it is. And you can't start launching into sermons at midnight on the 26th of August, because you can make that sermon now. We know what's going to happen. He's going to be massively outclassed, demoralised, bashed up and beaten into a pulp, or given a boxing lesson for 36 minutes, 12 rounds. We know all of those things. You can't say after the fight, I told you so, because we're all saying it now.
Yeah,
so in an ideal world, should this fight be happening? No. But now it is happening. Embrace it. You have to embrace it.
Yeah, it's one of them.
I think you do.
You still want to watch it, don't you?
Of course, that's the thing. You can say, you know, listen, the amount of people I've had on 5 Live and the amount of people I've had on my Box Nation show saying it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. And then the final question for me is, and are you going to buy it? Are you going to watch it? And the answer is yes.
I think I've even said that. Are you going to stay up till 6 in the morning to watch it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would have thought. I'll probably be saying that till midnight of the night, like most people, won't I? But I think you mentioned as well, when we talked a bit earlier as well, you think that MMA will be hurt more than boxing by what happens next?
Because he's one of their marquee fighters. He's been a brilliant success for the UFC and for other MMA companies since his professional career. He's had, I think, 24 fights, won 23, lost 3. He's been brilliant for their business. If he doesn't land a glove on Mayweather, if he gets stopped in 6 or 7 rounds as a mercy stoppage, and he's considered a striker. Now what that means in MMA terms is he's a boxer. He's not considered a jiu-jitsu specialist, a wrestling specialist, or a karate specialist, or a judo. He's considered a boxing specialist. So if he gets so brutally exposed, it can be bad for the business. And also, if you don't mind me saying so, and I'm not attacking MMA journalists I don't want to attack MMA journalists, but they think he's going to win. So they're not talking like you and I are talking now, Craig. They're talking about how hard it's going to be and how even it's going to be and how Conor's going to get to him, and Mayweather's been out of the ring too long. So they're building the whole thing up. Yeah,
which it could be if you can jump on someone and lose your legs.
But it's a non-fight.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as Conor was brilliant when I interviewed him last week, absolutely brilliant, but it's a non-event. It's not a competitive fight. It's a great event. Of course it is. And bully to it.
Okay, this will sound like a strange question. Mayweather said, I'll fight him in the octagon. What would have happened if this had been under MMA rules?
It would have lasted.
The other way, it's,
well, I'll tell you what. There is precedent for this. Okay, Randy Couture, one of the greatest MMA artists of all time, fought James Toney, one of the greatest fighters in the last 50 years. Toney won several world titles, including the heavyweight world title. He lost it because he failed a drug test. He's a brilliant fighter, James Toney. One of the best, one of the very, very, very best from the last 50 or so years. I think it lasted 46 seconds.
Yeah.
Randy Couture moved back, took him to the floor. Randy Couture at the time was ancient, nearly 50 years of age. Took Toney down, choke hold as they call it. He tapped out instantly. Same thing. Conor McGregor wouldn't do it that quickly because Conor McGregor's a showman. He'd play to the crowd for at least 4 minutes, and then in the last minute of the first round, he'd take Mayweather down and choke him out. Simple as that. But here's the thing. That line from Mayweather, which was delivered at the last press conference, reeked of desperateness. There was no need for it. Because nobody in boxing imagines they can go into the octagon and fight a top MMA guy. Nobody. And that's why there's a little bit of me that's slightly insulted that McGregor and MMA professionals, not fans, professionals, think that it's different the other way around. It's a bit of an insult, but I'm not going to take it personally.
Okay, last question.
Good.
Because it's been a long, long night. Steve, you certainly
has.
earned your money. Canelo, Triple G, September. We've talked about it. I'm with you. I think Canelo beats Triple G. And I think I've had 20 quid on it with Richie Woodall. Are you going to do the same?
Well,
and why does Canelo beat him?
I might do the same, because Richie and I were in the studio when Canelo beat Chavez Jr. And Richie and Paul Dempsey, who was the presenter on BT that night, both said massive GG, Triple G Golovkin would win. And I looked at them like they were crazies and said, you're joking. This is a massive Canelo win. I just fancy Canelo hands down. I think he'll be too smart, too clever, and I think that Golovkin might just be a bit too faded and jaded. He's had a hard life. Even if he's won all those fights, it's basically 7 years, 30 odd fights of really hard fights.
Yes. Okay, excellent, fantastic, Steve. You've been a credit to yourself, been a credit to the sport. Legend in boxing, as everyone would illustrate. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you again.